I don't know if you've heard of NATO,
Yes.
Kevin. It's this little thing. There's a big group, and guess what? Russia ain't in it. But it agreed that, like, all right, you guys can do that shit and we'll behave, but don't move past here. And they were like, no, we won't. Don't worry about it.
Promise. Not going there.
We would hate to sully the good name of this treaty by doing anything like that. And what was the first thing that we did, Dane?
Did that.
The thing that we said we would.
It was like that Tom and Jerry cartoon where Jerry draws the line in front of the dog and smacks his head.
I got a better one for you. I got a better one for you. Miss Scusi. Miss Scusi. It's like all of a sudden he's naked. Miss Scusi. Like,
and then somehow the line moves and then the dog gets Jerry.
And Putin's like, whoa, hey. We're like, oh my God, we're so sorry, but don't be dramatic. It's just this little, we were just moving things around. We liked how it looked better over here, so we're just going to stay here.
Yeah.
And then that was the last time we did that, right?
I think as it stands today, NATO shares, we're not talking about a few countries of buffer zone. NATO shares a direct border. NATO nations share a direct border across, I think, 1,500 miles with Russia. So this isn't a, hey, they're over in the east part of Europe, and then, you know, we have NATO over in the west part of Europe, and there's this big range in the middle where neither, you know, power is. No, the slow creep of about 30 years as NATO got closer and closer and closer, like David was saying, all while promising they weren't going to do that, all the way up to now they share 1,500 miles of direct border with Russia. It's kind of disingenuous.
And I know you're not
So the point here, Kevin G, on your first actual truth that is verifiable, is that when you say a completely brain dead statement like Russia started the war, as if you have no historical context whatsoever and you think that history just started yesterday. You completely ignore all of these other facts that, again, just flip the tables for 1 second. Imagine the US was defeated during the Cold War and Russia had a whole bunch of
Canadian
of its favorite, you know, satellite states over here in the Western Hemisphere. And let's say they were down in far South America. Let's say that, you know, the Russian version of NATO was like Argentina, Brazil, and like maybe Peru.
Dane.
And when the Cold War ends, Russia says, United States, we're not going to get any closer. And a few years go by and they bring in Bolivia and then Colombia and then Panama and then El Salvador and now Mexico. And the United States is saying, hey, USSR, what gives, bro? I thought the Cold War was over. Why are you right up on our doorstep? Would America have cause for provocation? Maybe, maybe not. But the point is, when you say Russia started the war, it would ignore all of that. Every single aspect of it. So when you say this is a verifiable statement that is actual truth, and that anybody who asks any sort of these follow-up questions that we're doing right now on this podcast categorizes us as chud culture, and the only reason why we question your whole Russia started the war narrative is because it's not based or manly in our opinion, you're missing an entire forest for the trees. And intentionally so, I think. I think you're being, as David would say, a chode by saying that.
Thank you, Dane. By the way, you stole my analogy, you slick little